Hi, everyone. It's Kiele JL here. So I am here with Secia Zappitielli, and we are going to be talking about mindfulness and wellness in the kitchen. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kiele JL. I'm a wellness chef and a sensuality coach for women. And basically, I help women cook healthy, feel sexy, and confident in the kitchen. And I teach all about holistic nutrition for women specifically. And I'm here with Secia, and she's amazing. Hi, Secia.
Hi, thank you. Awesome. I'll tell you a little bit about myself also. I'm a transformational life coach, and I help women learn how to manage their mind. And when you can manage your mind, you can create any result that you desire in your life. It's like magic.
It's so true. It's so true. I'm excited to be here with you and to be sharing this video and talking about this, especially, during this time, there's a lot of people creating content, and you and I just happened to get into this conversation the other day and decided, you know what, let's just create a video and put it out there in the world, because right now is the time to come together and support each other and help people. And you and I both love to cook. We both are super passionate about mindfulness, wellness, and especially getting your mindset right.
Absolutely.
No, I'm excited.
Yeah, this time it's such an interesting time because there's so many different thoughts being created around, like, surrounding this situation, I'll say.
Yeah.
And if we can become intentional about our thinking, especially in times of crisis, we can create a whole lot of good in our lives rather than a whole lot of chaos. And
Absolutely.
that's like the opportunity here.
Absolutely. I think that right now people are so focused on like media hype, stress, all the things, what's going on out there. And I feel like, this is an opportunity to work on your mindset. So can you tell us a little bit about mindset and why it's important?
Sure. Yeah. So if you accept that your thoughts create your emotions and your emotions drive your actions, and then your actions create your results, there's kind of like a chain of
Mhm.
events that happen every day in our
Mhm.
minds and in our actions. You can see the link between thoughts and results. And so when you can become more mindful of your thinking,
Mhm.
that empowers you to have control of your emotions. And depending on what emotion you create, that fuels certain actions. And then you have control over the results that you're creating in your life. And so your awareness around your thinking can be incredibly powerful, especially when you're trying to create a transformation in your life. So if you're trying to move from one result to the other, really what it takes is being aware of your thinking,
Mhm.
and then that's creating your current result, and then figuring out what thoughts would be most powerful and empowering to create emotions and actions that will create better results, or intentional results, or desired results, I should say.
Right, right. How can you talk to people about like taking the way that they're thinking now, like panic, stress, anxiety, especially for the people with kids out there who now have to deal with, homeschooling and distance learning. That's been a thing for the past few days because teachers are just inundating these kids with, and parents with just all this work, and then they're stressed out like, well, we don't have enough food, and what's what's a good way to take all of that stuff going on in your head and transform it into an opportunity to have a better mindset and like think about things better? Just out of curiosity.
Sure. Yeah. So where I like to start is with emotion.
Mm.
So really helpful tool to have is to just be in the moment and feel the emotion that you're experiencing. So really figure out what emotion you are feeling at any given time. So negative emotion is something that we experience every day. And if we can like name it, if we
Right.
can say, okay, I'm feeling frustrated right now, or I'm feeling discombobulated, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling
Right. Yeah.
chaotic, or mad or angry, all these negatives. If we can put a name on it and then say, okay, I'm feeling angry, and then allow yourself to feel that emotion. And then work backwards and figure out what thoughts are creating my frustration right now. What thoughts are creating my anger? What's creating this chaos? And really like go deep, figure out how to like keep track of what you're thinking. I don't know. I mean, it's different for everybody. Some people journal, some people just meditate, some people
Yeah.
just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Once you figure out what your thinking is, then ask yourself, how do I want to feel right now? What are
Mm-hmm.
the emotions that I want to create? I'd really prefer to feel calm. I'd
Yes.
really prefer to feel relaxed or motivated.
Yeah.
And then you can say, what thoughts would create calm? What thoughts will create relaxation right now? And do a comparison, and you can really see the difference in your thinking that creates anger and chaos and versus calm and relax. And you really have a choice.
Yes.
You really have a choice.
Yes.
And so it's about like taking stock of your thinking
Yeah.
and being intentional and kind of systematically replacing thoughts. And we're not trying to avoid negative emotion. Negative emotion exists for a purpose.
Right. Right.
Allow yourself to
Yeah.
feel it, and then allow yourself to move on through to something else. And
Yeah.
we do that with our thinking.
Yes, that is super helpful and powerful. And I love this because you and I both are passionate about cooking. We love to nourish ourselves. And I think that one thing that people are having a hard time with is actually carving out time to cook, where they, now's the time, everyone's at home and they're like, what do I do? And taking that thought process and bringing it into the kitchen. Something super powerful that you said to me the other day, and you said a lot of people either feel like they, learn to cook from, someone in their life, or they never did at all, and then they just leave it at that. And a lot of people nowadays, especially that they're at home, they're dealing with being bored and emotionally eating and not knowing what to cook. And I love talking to people about finding that transformation and that mindfulness in the kitchen and using it as a way to de-stress and using it as a way to meditate. And it's like such a beautiful thing. And now's the time to do it. It really just is, because you're at home. What else are you going to do?
Right. It's so powerful to like pick one thing that you want to improve upon and see it through during this opportunity that we have of more time and maybe time with your kids and learning recipes that will fuel the nutrition in your family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think it's all good. I just also think it's a good time for families to cook together and make it fun and not be afraid to get experimental and mess things up. The truth of the matter is the only way you can learn what you like and don't like is by cooking something, even if it doesn't really make any sense, and completely like mess it up. And then you say, oh, this could have used this. You start to recognize what your palate wants and is longing for. Mm-hmm. And that's really, that's transformation all on its own, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, there can be a lot of fear of failure in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many limiting beliefs, I think, surrounding cooking. One of the big ones is I don't have time.
Yes.
I'm just not a good cook.
I'm not good. Yeah.
I'm just not good. That's not a fact. That's an opinion. Yeah. That's a thought. And being aware of like when you're limiting yourself.
Yes.
Or I can't do this because my kids are home. That's not true.
That's so not true. That's when you should be doing it and make it an activity. This is really a time to slow down and spend more quality time with your kids and with your family. And so why not cook together? That's the first form of nourishment for your mind, body, and soul, if you really think about it. And I think it's so beautiful. And so part of my job and what I do is I help empower women to take on that role in the kitchen and make it their Zen zone. Too many people are afraid to go into the kitchen and they don't feel comfortable. They don't know how to hold a knife. They don't feel good. They're afraid of messing up. And it's such a personal thing, but it's really just a matter of breaking out of that and saying, no, I'm just going to experiment, cook, and see what happens. And my job is to help empower women with holistic nutrition. So in times like these, they know exactly what to eat that will nourish them. This virus affects our lungs first and foremost. So I just want to give some tips to, the women out there listening of what they can actually do.
It's so helpful. Having a guide like you to help people figure out what to do in the kitchen is so powerful.
Oh, thank you.
They first have to empower themselves to seek someone out like you, right? Like, what is the transformation I seek? Can I do this myself? Oh, would this be easier if I had someone else? And you're so kind to like be offering so much value at this time. And you're like giving away so much free content right now. And It's just like an amazing gift that you can share
Thank
with
you.
people.
I could thank you. I could say the same for you. I mean, you're in a place where you want to help women transform their lives and pick like one aspect of their life and go for it. I mean, there are so, and I love how we just work with women, you know, it's those are our people.
Yeah,
And it's just it's so great and powerful, and I love how we're doing this together. So I just want to go over some quick tips
please
what
do.
women can do in the kitchen. So what I like to do, and you probably have done this too, Secia, is when you get in the kitchen, you know, don't be in there with frantic energy, with, oh my God, I need to, you know, with hangry energy, because it's not going to serve you. And when you go into the kitchen and you cook with feelings of shame, stress, anxiety, nothing is going to taste good and your digestion will be off. It's all psycho-spiritual at the end of the day. You know, holistic is all about, you know, mind, body, soul connection. And if you harbor those feelings as you're in the kitchen to cook, nothing will taste good. You won't be in the moment. So this is the whole idea, is to be present. That's the first thing I have to say. And then if you choose, I do a heart and belly meditation and just some rolling breaths, like 5 rolling breaths, just to be present, ground myself in the kitchen, calm down, and just get ready to nourish myself and put yourself in that mindset. And that's really helpful. The
I love
more, right, the more
that.
energy you just put your hand, one hand on your heart, the other one on your belly, and then just send like loving energy to your digestive system and to your stomach. Because if we don't have good digestion, we're just not healthy as human beings. It just is what it is. I mean,
Awesome.
hmm?
That's really an opportunity. That's such an opportunity for people to take stock of like, what are my thoughts right now? What
Yeah,
emotion am I experiencing now? How can I transform this into a new, how can I move through that and really like be intentional about my emotion moving into the kitchen? I love that. I think that's
absolutely, absolutely. And I love how you just prompted that question. You know, what, even as you're breathing and you're focusing on your heart and your digestion, what emotions are you feeling, what thoughts? That's perfect. Love it. And then another thing, I just want to give some tips on what you should be eating. You know, right now the grocery stores out there, they're stocked with certain things and they're not stocked with other things. But from what I understand, the fresh produce is they're continue to keep on stocking up. So just some foods you can get that really help with your lungs. Radishes are like the number one. They are have that really great, like crisp, pungent flavor. It's a little bit spicy. They're really good for getting phlegm out of your lungs, just any dampness that doesn't need to be there. They nourish the yin energy and the yang energy in your lungs. They're really great for you. I even like the tips as well, so don't be afraid of the greens. Not enough people use those.
I didn't know
So
you could.
oh yeah, and the radish chips are great. So they're a little bit bitter. So if you pair that with the actual radishes, roast some beets, doesn't matter if they're red or they're golden, roast some beets in there, and then just take some orange juice, olive oil, and salt and whip it together and make a really simple vinaigrette. It would be
Wow.
delicious.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. And, you know, you can get all those things at the grocery store. So in these times, you know, you have the radishes to help your lungs, the oranges for vitamin C, and then the beets for blood building and cleansing. Because, you know, as women, we don't think enough about blood as a separate entity. And if our blood isn't nourished and clean and free flowing, we're just super not healthy, right?
Wow. Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so it
absolutely.
does all of those things. Another thing is take, get more squashes and root vegetables. They last a long time. You don't have to refrigerate them, and they're super good and nourishing for you. If you think about the history of root vegetables, squashes, potatoes, sweet potatoes, you think about the history of them in the, you know, this country, they've been around for forever. They were like the first food. And to this day, they still are very nourishing foods. They're very grounding. So it's a good time, it's a good food to have now that we have a lot of chaos around us and there's just so much like expansive energy and a lot of noise. It's really good to ground your system. It's great for digestion and it's great to like your root chakra, if that makes any sense. And what else? Focus on eating as much fresh produce as possible. And if you get leafy greens or herbs that end up going bad, I say throw them in a pot full of water, put an onion, a carrot, and some celery in it, and make a stock, and just have that going throughout the day. as you're working, because everybody's working from home now. It's really calming. It makes the whole entire house smell good. And you can use it to flavor different grains, soups, pretty much everything. And boiling down food and steeping food is a really like calming, gentle experience for you and for the food. So if you think about it from an emotional point of view, it really, really helps to just have that like really delicious smell going in the background. You know, it's on low, you don't have to worry about it, and you're just working throughout the day, and it's super calming.
I love that. I love that. I've never made a vegetable stock.
Oh my
I
God.
know. I've got to get on the stock wagon.
It's super easy. All you have to do, this is the combination you take, it's called a mirepoix in culinary terms, but it's 50% onion, 25% carrot, 25% celery. However, you can put anything in there, and it depends on what you have. And now's the perfect time to make any kind of stock. So if you have like fennel, for example, throw that in there. If you have leftover herbs, like, you know, you buy parsley and sometimes it goes a little limp, just throw
Yeah.
that in there. It's an
Awesome.
opportunity to just throw anything. And that's the beautiful thing. And all you have to do is just like salt it. That's it. And
Very cool.
it's really good. So
Amazing. I'm definitely going to do that.
yeah. So let me see. I think we've taken, oh, my timer stopped. Oh, well. Oh, yeah, we're at 16 minutes. So I think that this is a good opportunity to end. And hopefully this has given everybody listening just some tips on what they can do to be more mindful in the kitchen, and just some certain foods to focus on and to check in with themselves, you know, all the time, and find out, you know, what's really going on, and learn how to calm themselves by just little tips and tricks. Do you, before we end, just really quick, do you have any tips that you can give about just how to be more mindful besides what you've already said?
I really like the question, how can I use this opportunity, or what's the question? It's what transformation is this opportunity perfect for?
Love it.
Right? That just gets you in the mindset of looking on like, how can this be positive? How can I turn a negative into a positive? I
Love
think
it.
right now when there's so much chaos, it's like internally it doesn't have to be chaotic. And if we ask ourselves the right question and we look for the light and we look for the opportunities, that's when like things get really good in life. That's when things get really grounded,
Absolutely.
and that radiates to your kids and your husband and or your wife, and to your friends and family. And if we can all kind of embody more calm during this time, I think like the collective will benefit from it.
Absolutely. This has been such a great conversation. I can't wait to have another one with you. So you can find me, for those of you watching, on Facebook. Just look up Kiele JL, or on Instagram, it's at KIELEJAEL. Shoot me a DM, private message. You can find me on my website. All the information's out there. And Secia, where can people find you?
Awesome. Yeah, you can find me on Facebook at Secia Zappitielli. Feel free to send me a private message.
Amazing. And all of the information, I'm sure we're going to put all of our stuff. So thank you so much. And Secia, it's been awesome talking to you.
Thank you for this chat. It was awesome.
Bye.